Hello, my name is Grian, and today I'm going to be showing you how to mob-proof your house and some techniques surrounding that concept. I actually had to do a bit of research and get the crew to help me because I haven't played survival Minecraft in a really long time. So I'm probably a little bit outdated, and there's probably some stuff that you can tell me in the comments. Anyway, let's get started. So pretend we have a chasm here. You've surrounded your house with a trench, and one of the things you can do to hop across is just jump on the slime and bounce up. No need to jump on the slime, you literally jump down and bounce up. It's probably the most fun thing ever to get to your house. So I recommend that just for the sheer amount of fun. Or if you prefer just to walk, you could stick some string down and then have some carpet on the top, and the mobs will actually not walk across the carpet because it doesn't see it as a real block. So you've got something to walk across, but the mobs will just stand there like idiots and be like, what? How do I get across this? So that's a really good idea, and it also works with trapdoors. So if you want to do something overly complicated, or maybe even use barrier blocks, you can use trapdoors, or you could just make it 2 blocks thick and just have a very simple trapdoor. And what's good about this one is that you can actually close it and open it, so you could just leave the chasm open if you wanted to. Moving on, we have what appears to be just a puddle of water. That's because it is a puddle of water. Endermen don't like water, so a really good way of stopping Endermen is just surround your house in water. Next up is the most important one. It's just lighting. Mobs don't spawn in the light, or most of them don't. So it's an important way to do it, and you can hide it with various techniques, or you don't have to hide it at all. The piston here works well with a wooden flooring, so if you were going to do some sort of pattern, that's also cool, because the piston is actually invisible to light for some reason, who knows why. And then we've got some glowstone underneath some carpet and some leaves, or you could just be really bold about it and put some torches on sticks and stuff like that. So yeah, lighting up, very, very important, stops the zombies and the skeletons getting at your house. And yeah, I'll just replace this leaves here. Okay, so next up we have the thing that blew my mind. I didn't know about this. You guys probably knew about this, but I didn't. Now this just looks like a normal door, but it's actually doing something rather special. It's so simple and genius at the same time. I'm not sure how I didn't know this, but what you need to do is when you're placing your doors, I'm just going to make a little archway here. Instead of placing your doors in front, like so, that's not how you do it. What you need to do is place your doors to the side. So you need to face the correct way and place them against the wood. And it's going to take a little bit of fiddling around, because if you close them in this position, it actually leaves a gap in the middle, and that's not what you want. I actually struggled to figure out how it was done for a little while, until I realized you need to have it a block back. But anyway, that's besides the point. How this works is you place them adjacent to the log, because when you place it down, the door is in the closed position. Now, a zombie will only attack a door if it's closed. So if you place it as closed against the log and then open it in the position where it's useful to you, the zombie can't understand. It thinks the door is open, so it won't attack you. But because you placed it sideways, it's actually technically closed. So you're just reversing the door a little bit. And honestly, this is really, really clever. I didn't know about this, but if you want it to function properly, you do need to have the doors working like that, where they overlap a little bit. Next up, we have the bait. This is the poor little villager who is going to be the bait of the zombies and stuff. All they do is follow the villager and fall in the hole. Now, when the sun comes up, they start burning. You can collect the stuff. Very easy to do, and you could just place these strategically around your house to just deter the zombies from even coming near you. As for skeletons and stuff, it's a little bit different. Next up is the anti-spider tricks. So, quite simply, spiders are really annoying, and they climb up poles. If you had a wall like this, and the wall is your bread and butter, the wall is to stop anything getting in. But if you had that, spiders could get in. But if you put a block at the top, they simply can't. So there's various ideas here. The most popular one is the fence gate, because it's very good looking without being too intrusive. So here are all the ideas, and let's employ them in an example. So here is a fairly decent looking house. Ignore the house. The house is completely irrelevant in mob proofing your house. You don't actually need to do anything to your house, which means you can actually have a pretty decent looking house and decorate it with some mob proof stuff. The first thing is the door trick, very important, and actually having it overlap really suits the style of wall that we're going to come to in a second. So yeah, the door is a good thing because in the open position. The wall stops every mob coming in, apart from Enderman, as far as I'm aware. Very, very important, and you can see all of the trapdoors around that will stop spiders. As long as there's one every 2 blocks, the spider won't be able to get up, and they'll just be stuck there forever until it goes to daytime and then they become neutral. Or you could attack them. It's up to you. On the inside, everything is flat, and we have some glowstone with some carpet to match the grass around it so that it doesn't look too intrusive in the scenario that we've got going on here. And you will notice that it is completely flat, because if it had any sort of level variation, an Enderman would probably come in and steal your grass blocks. Then out here we have the poor saps that are going to be the bait. They're just going to live in their cages until zombies come along and fall in the hole. Now you could actually do different things with these holes surrounding your bait. You could fill them with lava so they just fall in and burn. Or if you're more of a tinkerer and a collector, you could stick some droppers down there and rig it up to go into your basement so that you get all the stuff that the zombies drop when they get burnt by the sun. So the zombies will walk to the bait, they fall in, they die in the sun, their stuff drops in the hoppers, and it leads all the way to your chest where you're full of all that sweet, sweet loot. Now, this house was a great example of some of the techniques that we talked about, but there's always a way to take it one step further. Why don't we go and take it to the most overkill house that I've ever seen for mob proofing? Here it is. Obviously in a survival situation this is going to look weird, and making it look good is absolutely a difficulty, which is why I showed you the first one. So what we've got here is a bunch of water, which protects us from Enderman. We've got a very resistant block as the base, which is the stone brick, which is kind of good against creepers. And then straight away, if a mob is chasing you, imagine a mob is chasing us, and that's what the scenario is here. So we're running along, you could jump up here, but we have a button here that will level it up so that we can walk across. If that doesn't stop them, you keep on running. And of course we have the trapdoors here to stop any spiders. You keep on running, and there's mobs can't walk across carpets, so you keep running. They shouldn't follow you, but if they somehow still find a way to get across, then you have another method. You have the lava gate, which is just a bunch of redstone hooked up, and then that will go back in. But what if it's pigmen and they've managed to follow you for like 10,000 blocks? Well, we've got some bait here. If that doesn't work, we've got the lily pad parkour all the way to our house and up the ladder, and we should be safe. If that doesn't stop mobs, I give up. Like, this is the most mob-proof thing, and it's so overkill, it's ugly. Like, someone that would build one of these, like, you have too much time, make another house, like, what are you doing? You can make a better looking house that's just as mob-proof, but regardless, I did promise a 100% mob-proof house, and there's lots of things you can do. Now, in terms of creepers, there's actually a few blocks which are entirely resistant to their explosions. And they are brick and obsidian. The problem with brick and obsidian is they are ugly blocks. So you could make the base out of these 2 blocks if you wanted to, but just take a look at them. They're not very good. Now brick isn't too bad, and obsidian as well, but like, they just don't work with anything. They're really, really unsightly blocks, but of course you could use a texture pack to cheat that. Now, I am not against texture packs on the whole, I occasionally use them. However, I do all of my videos in default because I'm assuming that most of you will use default. So we're back at our good looking mob house. I think this one is my personal preference. It might not save you from every mob, but at least it's not the overkill house. And then back to all of the different, concepts and designs for protecting against mobs. Now, I'm no expert. I honestly, I learned a few things here, and my crew helped me because they're way more knowledgeable, apparently, about Minecraft than I am, because honestly, I started playing from like really early on in Minecraft, like when it first came out, and I haven't played survival for a really long time, so I had to learn a lot. But so big thank you to the crew for helping me out on this one. This was a very different style of commentary with a little bit more humor, I suppose. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments down below. And of course, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye!